Most people think a recognizable name on a watch means you are buying quality. Most people are wrong. The difference between a watch that holds its value and one that turns to junk in 2 years has almost nothing to do with the logo on the dial. It has everything to do with what is inside the case. In this video, we will expose which watch brands are selling you a marketing story and which brands your money should actually go to. Number 8. Any watch with a fake or misrepresented movement. This is not a single brand. It is the most dangerous pattern on this entire list, and it runs through the budget, mid-range, and even some luxury tiers without warning. Misrepresented movements are everywhere, and the consequences are permanent. Here is what the listing never admits. Brands claiming Swiss movement or in-house caliber are often using generic low-cost modules sourced from third-party suppliers. In some cases, Swiss movement means a single component was assembled in Switzerland. The rest is not. The movement spec is the single most important piece of information on any watch, and it is the most commonly buried. A 2026 buyer warning breakdown was explicit. If a brand is vague about the exact movement model or refuses to provide technical specifications, that is a red flag that the watch is cheaply built and aggressively overpriced. You cannot service a movement you cannot identify. You cannot sell a watch whose internals no one will service. The movement ticks. You never know what is ticking. Years later, when it stops and the repair quote arrives, you find out the hard way. Read the spec sheet before you read the dial. The next category takes that same dishonesty and wraps it in a Kickstarter campaign and a lifestyle logo. Number 7. Overpriced Instagram microbrands with no track record. The microbrand wave produced a handful of genuinely good independent watchmakers. It also produced an industrial quantity of MVMT clones with different logos and the same factory source address. Here is what luxury at a fair price actually means for most of them. Watch warning videos document wave after wave of Kickstarter and Instagram microbrands claiming revolutionary value propositions while reselling generic cases and cheap movements at huge markups. Many use the same 3 or 4 Chinese or Taiwanese factories, offering nothing unique beyond a branded crown logo in a Shopify store. Reddit advice threads warn that a meaningful majority of these brands share case molds and movement suppliers, with differentiation existing only at the branding layer. The red flag the same videos identify is vagueness about movement specs. If a brand cannot tell you the exact caliber reference in their watch, they are hiding something worth knowing. You unbox it, it feels impressive for approximately 40 minutes, then you notice the finishing inconsistencies, the crown resistance, and the lug width that no strap ever quite fits. The heritage narrative on the website was written by a copywriter, not a watchmaker. If the brand is 2 years old, ask yourself what you're actually buying. If you have ever spent serious money on the next brand thinking it was a smart luxury purchase, this next entry is going to land differently. Hublot is the aspirational brand for buyers who want to enter luxury watchmaking, but do not yet know what that actually means. The marketing is world-class. The value retention is not. Here is what the Big Bang conceals. Investment-focused analyses confirm that most Hublot watches lose between 30 and 50% of their retail value shortly after purchase. Standard Big Bang and Classic Fusion models typically retain only 40 to 60% of the manufacturer's suggested retail price in the secondary market, compared with Rolex or Patek Philippe, which regularly retain 80 to 100% or appreciate in value. A 2025 market analysis confirmed the 40 to 60% retention figure directly. Reddit discussions listing brands to avoid regardless of price mention Hublot explicitly for housing relatively ordinary movements inside very expensive, heavily marketed cases. The brand's strength is aesthetic innovation. Its weakness is charging Patek prices for movements that do not justify it. What you are wearing when you strap on a standard Hublot is a 30 to 50% depreciation the moment you leave the authorized dealer. The rubber strap grips your wrist. The resale value does not grip much else. Hublot sells confidence. The secondary market sells the truth. Where Hublot at least delivers genuine Swiss engineering, The next brand delivers genuine Swiss audacity, fake discounts dressed up as luxury. Number 5. Generic fashion oversized watches. Diesel and Guess. Diesel and Guess exist in a specific intersection of watchmaking. Enormous cases, aggressive aesthetics, and movements that have no business being inside something that costs what these do. They sell attitude. The engineering never showed up to the photo shoot. Here is the production reality. Both brands chase trend-driven design with oversized cases and flashy dials, targeting buyers who want to make a statement. What they deliver underneath is low-end quartz movement hardware, the kind that belongs in a $20 timepiece, housed in thick, heavy cases that look substantial without being substantial. A 2026 buyer warning. Breakdown specifically called out Diesel and Guess for oversized fashion watches that prioritize aesthetics over movement quality or long-term durability. Enthusiast communities note that for the price of a Diesel flagship, you could buy a serious entry-level piece from a heritage brand with genuine engineering credentials. The case scratches. The plating fades. The movement ticks on, indifferent to the drama around it, doing exactly what a $5 quartz movement has always done. You paid for theater. The watch delivers a utility bill. Big case, small watch. Remember that. The next brand invented a pricing trick so effective that most buyers never realized the watch was never worth the original number. Number 4. Invicta. Invicta runs one of the most sophisticated fake urgency systems in consumer goods. A watch listed at $499, permanently discounted to $69, is not a deal. The $499 was fiction from day one. Here is what the inflated MSRP conceals. Invicta's pricing model is built on fabricated reference prices, creating the psychological illusion of luxury at a fraction of the cost. The reality underneath is a brand with widely documented quality control failures, misaligned bezels, wobbly rotors, and inconsistent finishing, which make each purchase closer to a lottery ticket than a reliable instrument. A 2026 buyer warning video called out the Invicta Pro diver directly for copying Rolex's Submariner design without delivering anywhere near the engineering quality. Enthusiast communities consistently recommend the Seiko 5 or Orient Mako as superior alternatives for the same or less actual money. The homage aesthetic fools the eye. The movement disappoints the wrist. You pick up an Invicta and the weight is wrong, the finish is wrong, and the crown feels like it belongs on a cereal box toy. What lingers is the creeping awareness that the 80% off tag was always the product, not the watch. The discount is the scam. Full stop. Get the next category wrong and you are making the same mistake across an entire wardrobe of brands at once. Number 3. Fashion logo. Brands: Armani, Michael Kors, Tommy Hilfiger, Guess, Diesel. Armani, Michael Kors, Tommy Hilfiger, and the rest are not watch companies. They are licensing operations. That distinction costs you every time you buy one without knowing it. Here is what the label hides. Fashion houses like Armani, Michael Kors, and Tommy Hilfiger license their watch production to Fossil Group, a manufacturer with almost no involvement from the fashion brand in engineering or movement selection. The result is a cheap quartz movement dressed in a recognizable logo and sold at prices that compete directly with actual watchmakers like Seiko and Orient. Ben's Watch Club documented the Fossil Group licensing relationship directly, confirming the fashion brand typically has nothing to do with the engineering. Reddit threads about brands to avoid include Burberry, Gucci, Versace, Kenneth Cole, and others in the same breath, all for the same reason. You are paying for a name, not a caliber. These watches fail the most basic watchmaking categories. They are neither proper divers, nor dress watches, nor chronographs. Water resistance is minimal, lume is absent, and the resale value collapses the moment you leave the store. Buying a Michael Kors watch when a Seiko 5 exists at the same price point is a decision you will notice every time you look at your wrist. That is not a watch. That is a logo delivery system. If you are finding this breakdown useful, hit subscribe. The 2 worst offenders on this list are still coming. Number 2. MVMT. MVMT positions itself as the rebellion against overpriced Swiss watches, the brand for smart buyers who see through the nonsense. That framing is genius. It is also nonsense. Here is what the branding conceals. MVMT sources, mass-produced cases and dials from the same generic Chinese factories that supply dozens of other labels, then marks them up 200 to 300% based on Instagram reach and lifestyle photography. The brand was acquired by Movado Group in 2018 for up to $100 million. A marketing acquisition, not a watchmaking one. Watch YouTubers and TikTok reviewers consistently describe MVMT pieces as rebranded drop-shipped fashion watches. Community threads on Aurora watches list the brand under a void, regardless of price. The bracelets show wear fast, the lug finishing is rough, and multiple owners report issues after limited use. The watch feels light in your hand because there is nothing substantial inside it. The movement delivers no mechanical story, no heritage, no engineering worth discussing. It coats itself in minimalism to disguise the absence of craft. Paying for rebellion is still paying for nothing. Everything on this list has been building to one brand, the single most successful proof that marketing alone can sell a product that has no watchmaking business existing at its price. Number 1. Daniel Wellington. Daniel Wellington is the Instagram ad that convinced a generation to pay $200 for a $15 movement. The entire brand was built on influencer seeding, not watchmaking, and that distinction matters more than most buyers realize. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. The quartz movement inside a Daniel Wellington retails at roughly $15 at trade cost. The mineral glass scratches within weeks of normal wear. There is no sapphire crystal option, no lume, and no water resistance worth mentioning. The case is so thin, it flexes under pressure. Watch reviewers and enthusiast communities on Reddit's R-Watches consistently group Daniel Wellington with MVMT and the fifth as the archetypal fashion watch scam. A 2026 buyer warning breakdown confirmed the movement cost versus retail price gap directly. For $200, you are funding a photo shoot, not a timepiece. What you end up wearing is a watch that vanishes into mediocrity the moment the influencer stops smiling. The strap discolors, the case scratches, and the movement offers nothing a $5 battery-powered clock cannot do. There is no resale value, no secondary market, no reason to keep it. Don't buy the aesthetic, buy the movement. The few you should buy. Seiko is the default correction for almost every brand on this list. At the price of a Daniel Wellington, a Seiko 5 Sports delivers a real automatic movement, genuine water resistance, a robust case, and a resale market that actually exists. The Prospex Diver line extends that value into serious tool watch territory. Reviewers and enthusiast communities cite Seiko as the first recommendation against every fashion brand alternative, consistently and without qualification. Citizen earns its reputation through engineering honesty. EcoDrive is solar-powered quartz with no battery changes, superior movement quality, and build standards that embarrass the fashion brands at identical price points. Watch reviewers and retailers repeatedly position Citizen as the go-to everyday watch under a few $100s, with proper specifications and marketing that does not require inventing a discount. Orient, owned by Seiko Epson, is the answer for every buyer who wants mechanical watchmaking without a brand tax. In-house automatic movements come at prices that undercut fashion brands outright. The Bambino is for dress occasions. The Mako and Ray are for divers. Real horological content for buyers who want the craft, not the story. When the budget reaches Swiss territory, Tissot and Hamilton deliver transparent movement specs, honest pricing, and genuine mechanical options, without the theater of a fashion logo or the depreciation curve of a status brand. Buy the movement, the case will follow. Subscribe for more breakdowns like this one.